let's talk about Mayor Eric Adams for just a moment because he really put out an eye-popping number over the summer, and he said that the influx of migrants into the Big Apple could cause the city $12 billion. That's a huge number. So what do you think is missing from this conversation when it comes to New York specifically and the immigration crisis that this country's seeing?
You're just incentivizing the problem. Money is not the problem, right? It will become a problem. We've already, the fire department, the police department, sanitation, many of our civil workers have already been informed, right, that they will not be getting overtime. What does that translate into? That's a cut in services for the people in New York. You're jeopardizing our public safety because of lack of funds. And then you're going to ask the federal government for more money. All you're doing is putting fuel on the fire. You have to cut the source of funding to this problem to start with. You have to change policy, and it's going to be very hard for him now to reverse his words to the world. They've already heard him. Come to New York. This sanctuary city, sanctuary state is irresponsible on so many levels. You invited this problem to New York City.
What do you think?
America.
To your point, what do you think the limiting principles, if any, should be for sanctuary cities, sanctuary states? Do you think that New York should revoke its sanctuary status?
It's you know, so the Democrats would tell you, well, there is no law that states we're a sanctuary cities. Yeah, but when you're an authority figure like the mayor or the governor of New York, and you state something, you know, the average and even above average person believes that to be true. That's why I say you just set a new policy, and that's what it translates to the rest of the world, to that New York is a sanctuary city state. You are violating federal law. The law already exists. This is illegal. It's completely illegal. Using federal land was illegal, but there you go. Why? Because they have nowhere else to put the illegal immigrants.
What do you
Enforce
think
the
that
law.
What do you think the solution is for this current issue right now? Because right now it's not an ideal situation for anyone. The kids at James Madison High School are back in school off of remote learning. Parents certainly weren't pleased about that this week. Not ideal for them. It's also not ideal for migrants going there in the middle of the night. They didn't have cots. Also staying at Floyd Bennett Field. You're saying it's unsafe. Many people in New York saying it's unsafe. So what is this immediate solution?
So, you know, that's a great question to this dynamic problem. And that's, again, going back to what I said about predictable. We don't have the housing. We don't have jobs. We're not set up for emergency situations like this. So you created this problem. You made it worse by inviting this. So the solution is to shut the border immediately, a year ago, 2 years ago. And do your job as the federal government, stem the flow. And then listen, I'm a compassionate person. The majority of Americans are sympathetic to this problem and the plights that many face through all over the world. That's what makes us so wonderful and so desirable to come to, because they know people have these freedoms. And if you're going to make it anywhere, you're going to make it in America, right? But there's a process, and the process is in place for a reason, so that we can manage it. You know, the immigration system coming into the country is a whole other discussion on whether it's broken or not, right? But they are violating our laws. They have a total disregard. They are just coming, and they don't seem to care. It's not their problem once they cross their border. It becomes our problem. And, you know, again, people are setting up food pantries, clothing drives, right? And I'm all for it, because once they're here, it does become a problem, a human problem. And yeah, what are you going to do? Leave them in the tents and risk loss of life? No, you're going to get school buses for the next 8 hours and move 1,700, 1,900 no accountability. They have no idea. And now they're going to put them in a high school. So what's going to happen with that, right? So now you go to Zoom and the kids don't go to school, because we all know what Zoom does. When you get 200 people on a Zoom call, nobody's paying attention. But then you leave, and now you have concerned parents, and you have, what did the sanitation, the janitors come into, the custodian engineers, right? The custodial engineers, they normally deal with X. Now you come in the next day and you're dealing with X times 10. Now you got to hire contractors to come in and clean up and desanitize, because you have everybody in a panic.